Hola, Stefano.
Hola, Pam.
So nice to have you here at Potato Head.
Yeah.
Kind of a dream when you can have your friends from halfway across the world just randomly, well, not really randomly, it was a little premeditated, but come into your sphere again and enjoy like the magic times that brought us together in the first place. So, yeah, welcome.
Yeah,
Welcome to
thank
Bali.
you. It's a dream for us to be here.
Yeah.
It's a long time, no? Long time no see now.
I mean, actually, it's been a couple of years.
Yeah.
But actually, I was trying to think back to the first time we met. And I can't, it's a little bit blurry, but it was at least 10 years ago.
I think so, yeah. Yeah, or more. I don't know, but around that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it was at your bar in Barcelona.
Was it my bar or your restaurant the first time?
I think the first time was at your bar.
Okay.
However, you might not have known I was there because I went, but you might have been there, but maybe we didn't interact as much.
Okay.
But Borja for sure was there.
Yeah, Borja for sure.
Borja, who's also here with us at Potato Head.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a history, but mostly I think, I had stumbled in there loving natural wine and knowing that you guys are an iconic natural wine place and then, with the intention to have a drink or two, and then, it ended up being the whole night,
Yeah,
that's
usually.
that's usually the case. It's like
Exactly.
very much like, you go in through these doors, like that's what your night's going to end up.
I mean,
that's where you're going to stay the whole night. And that's because you guys are like incredible at like sharing your love of, both what you do and for the community. And I mean, can you give us a little bit of background about Bar Brutal?
Yeah, of course. I mean, the thing is, like, it's you're right. I mean, we are there and we open because we want to share our passion for wine, for organic wine, and we got involved in a lot of activity in the community with winemakers and agriculture and spreading the love of natural wine. And so
what year did you open?
We opened in 2013.
Okay.
So it's like 12 years ago. So you were there very early days.
Yeah.
It was a little bit, I mean, it's still crazy now, but we were young. So
yeah, I was young too,
Everybody was young. So it's like, it was a little bit more crazy, more rough, but the same philosophy to stay connected to the wine and to the people that make the wine and to the people that enjoy the wine and to the community of hospitality that is a very strong, it's a very strong community. And now it's after like more than 10 years, it's spread really a lot all over the world.
I mean, now most people have heard of natural wine. I remember 12 years ago, let's say I had a restaurant in New York 10 years ago, and we were looking for someone that knew about natural wine. And in New York City, we couldn't find someone, right? You would think, right? Yeah. But actually, I had sort of found out about it through living in Europe a bit and just was really drawn to the philosophy and the connection to the land, the connection to the people, and also the community surrounding it, like as people who care deeply about community and also care deeply about how things are produced, where things are from, having that sentiment towards like the ingredients we work with. And then it felt really natural to like then look at the winemaking and look at, where and how are these things produced. And I think really inspired by the energy and the sort of freedom, the free spirit nature that you often find in sort of natural wine bars. Of course, that's changing a little bit because now that it's a trend, you have everyone saying they're a natural wine bar without having some of the full understanding of what that means and what that spirit is and the origins. And it's not like natural wine is a new thing, It's been happening before it became a label, Of course, it's just now people like to call it a trend, but I don't see it as a trend. It's a way of living. It's a choice. It's a consciousness about how you live in this world. And for me, that's more than just me saying, oh, I like natural wine. It's not because that there's so much more behind it, behind my choices to embrace, the people who are making it and and sometimes the mistakes or the flaws that come with it, it's all part of like embracing a certain kind of philosophy and a certain kind of living, right?
Yeah, totally. Actually, it's like I think it's curious that now it's very trendy, and it's very almost common in big cities everywhere. But I think is a really good thing. It's like there's more people connected with it, more people that they know about the philosophy that is behind, and even the people that are not that much involved, or they're not that much educated on that. It's good for the system and the movement in general. Mm-hmm. It's like I don't know. It started a little bit like I don't know. It's like music. So like punk music or any kind of music that start a little bit more underground or revolutionary or whatever, and then 20 years, 30 years later, and then it's pop music. I mean, it's like it's part of the culture. So it is good, but at the same time, it's really important that people will understand there's a big effort behind to maintain that kind of philosophy that embrace the sustainability with agriculture, and a certain community of people that believes in the same values. Generally, it's about everything. It's about food. It's about the wine. Is about how you treat people. It's like it's a strong way of to be committed with what you do. So it's like it is nice. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's a commitment. It's not just like a fad or a fashion. It's a commitment to, it's something that you have conviction about, right?
Yeah.
I mean, to do it in the first place, like any kind of organic agriculture, as wine is an agricultural product, it's not easy. It's a very, I've spent a fair bit of time, maybe not as much as you, visiting winemakers and really like understanding how it all works, and it's a very demanding job to have, and you're at the mercy of Mother Nature.
Yeah, totally.
And as we enter this very scary era of unpredictable climate, that really challenges all forms of agriculture. But wine is something that is very much embedded in the culture of Europe and much of the world, much of the certain part of the world that can grow grapes very easily. And, to have that culture suddenly be threatened by weather events where you could lose your whole crop or something along these lines, the future of winemaking is also in question. Like, how do we pivot? How do we adapt? And not just wine, but we're talking about food and food systems in general. And I think for people to have the understanding of what is it's not an unlimited product. It's made with care. It's made by hands, usually more handmade, less machinery, and so, I think having that understanding when you're having the bottle, you don't need to know, everything, every grape, every production method, but to really have the understanding that it's a handmade product, I think is important, even as you see it around the world,
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, 100%. And it's, there's a couple of aspects. It's like one is, I mean, there's a lot of people that think that the only revolution that we can apply for climate change is through agriculture in general. Every kind of agriculture, that probably makes sense because it's a big part of that, and especially in the last few years, we are completely at mercy of this new. It's a new game, so it's different. It's complicated. You have to remember that natural winemaker generally are not big farmers. We're talking about the smaller amounts of land and very deep in the community. That one is one issue, and the other issue is like it's and I think that you can agree with me, especially here in this place, you can feel it, is about the energy of the product that you have from the wine, but can be food, it can be material, it can be how you design or how you treat people, how you manage spaces. There's a certain kind of energy that you can, as you said, is like maybe you're not an expert about the grape or how the wine is, this kind of wine is done in a way or another, but certainly I think that this crazy curve that grows so much for people to drink more natural wine. It's a trend, especially because it's the kind of energy that you can feel when you drink it. Sure. It's you can feel it. It's more fun. It's more healthy. It's like there's a different kind of energy. It depends the same with
the joke that you never get a hangover drinking natural wine.
Yeah, that's that depends on the quantity too. It's like it's people.
It's still alcohol.
Drink with moderation.
Yeah,
but
what is moderation really?
Yeah, or try. They try to get your level of hangover. Like it's but the thing is, like, of course, it's like it's less contaminated. Let's say that. So it's a little bit better for your body, but for sure it's different when you eat something that it's there's more soul in it, or when you when you stay in a place like this where we are, there's a certain, you can feel the energy, you can feel more at home, more relaxed. And that's why they call it soul food, when you taste a certain kind of. So
I think that's what drew me to it in the first place. I was young, and I think in the south of France, and that's where I had natural wine for the first time. And I didn't really know what that meant, but I could feel the energy. Yeah. And it's a product that's alive. There's like a motivation by the winemaker to let the grapes speak and let the conditions that the grapes grew that year, or the land itself, speak. Yeah. And so there's a putting that agricultural product first, and not like that it has to be the same every year, every vintage.
Yeah, of course.
And that's a lot of, like, I guess, more traditional, let's say conventional winemaking, where there's additives put in to make the wine quote unquote consistent, vintage, bottle to bottle, year to year. And so embracing also the variability that comes, when you talk about, it's a fermented product. When you talk about wild fermentation, I often refer to, wild fermentation in bread with sourdough, and the range of flavors, the soul that you get from those products. And, being someone that's very much fermentation and wild fermentation is very much a part of, how I like to cook. And for the wine, I can feel the same connection, and connection to the person too. I think oftentimes when I meet a winemaker, that person has a strong character, because it's not an easy thing to do, or not an easy life to have. So it really reflects the character of that person. And I really remember a wine by the stories that this person's told, or the land that they show me, or their personal connection to it. And, I'm not very good at remembering which grape or, which vintage, or I'm visual, and I'm also, I get attracted to the story. So all the wines that I love the most are ones that, I've personally visited, that there's a connection to, because at the end of the day, for me, like cooking and feeding people, which is what we do, our jobs in hospitality, taking care of people, it's about connection.
Yeah. No, 100%. But it's I still remember your bread from the first. Yeah. It's like to be famous for the bread in New York. Like it's at one point it was like, oh my God, where people were like going to Brooklyn to.
I'm retired.
Yeah. Okay. But it's like it's everything. It's there's something that is good. You can feel it, and it's the same as like when you there's some craft product, like some beautiful pottery or whatever. You can feel like people like spend so many hours, time, effort, energy doing something to try to express their self. It's very special. I don't know.
And we're losing so much of that craft in the modern world. And so even here in Bali, which is, a very interesting place. I know it's only your second time, but for me, the attraction of being here is, despite, you have the dichotomy of, the hyper, the sort of, let's say, aggressive development in contrast to the people who were the original people living in this land, that are very still connected to their tradition and their craft. And that is always, those two things are always bumping up against each other in quite a an interesting way. It is what it is. And so something very important to us in welcoming you here was for us to give you a sense or a glimpse of that still exists here in Bali. So yesterday we were lucky enough to go up to North Bali.
Oh, that was amazing. Yeah.
And visit Chef Yudi, who is using like quite traditional methods to make traditional products. So Juru, palm syrup, coconut oil, and arak.
Yeah.
Tell us about your visit yesterday.
No, that. Thanks again for having us here. It's like that was really, really amazing, and it's and I think is about choices. I mean, if you choose to come here, and if you choose to come here to see certain places, certain people, it's you. It's a statement. Like, okay, I'm coming to Bali, but I want to do, and you can be,
a beach club.
No, of course, but it's but it's the only choice that we can make. And sometimes it's not even get so attached of the result. Is like, okay, other people probably they want to do other things, but they're their own thing. So with our community, more strongly, you are connected to your community and to what you want to do with your life in general. You get more enriched in what your experience is everywhere, especially here. So for me, it's kind of crazy because I don't know about a lot about the other face of Bali, because every time we came here, it's like it was, but you invite us here. Last time we came here to understand a little bit more about the project, because we were very curious about this beautiful project that you have here, and so the opportunity to go like last night, to go there and see how people are very connected to their land, very connected to their tradition, very connected to nature.
Yeah.
And they are doing their own craft product in such a beautiful way.
Yeah.
Man, that meal was
commercial.
No, it's not commercial.
I think that's the interesting thing about it. I think, for both of us, of course, we live in, capitalist societies. We need to make something work. But at the end of the day, most of the choices we make are first not based on commercialism.
Yeah.
They're based on passion. They're based on conviction about a way of living, about putting our money where our money speaks, right? Our money votes. And, we put our money into the products and the people that we feel convicted about.
100%.
And this, Chef Yudi, he's a youngish guy. Like he could be having a flashy restaurant somewhere maybe, but he's convicted about preserving this part of community, this part of history and connection to his culture. And I think he's created a really beautiful space in which to show that to people. And just like we had a beautiful meal with
that was good.
The fish that he has caught.
It was spicy. It was so good. But it was so good, so good.
Italians.
No. I mean, no. For me, it was good. So
yeah.
But no, totally. But it's the important thing is it's you put your seed into your community. And the thing is you can only ask why you want to do that kind of thing. We were talking before about love and friendship. We are here because we are friends, and because we love what you do, because we know our common ground, our values, and it's. I mean, what's life? It's not,
exactly.
You want to work more, spend more energy to make more money, to spend more money. It's it doesn't make sense. So and the crazy thing is that you can have a commercial fancy restaurant everywhere, but an experience like yesterday, it's so unique that that's the great thing.
We go back to the word soul that you said. For me, sharing something with soul, I feel that in your place in Barcelona, and every single time we've spent time together, and also when I welcomed you in New York. So I think that's the common thread and the thing that we find our people, right? We find our tribe, and I think and also we want to share your philosophy here. There is not a culture of wine made from grapes here. And to a lot of Asia, I feel wine is a more a less concrete thing, a more of like a aspirational thing. And so I think it's interesting. I often think about, the role of having wine in a place where wine is not made, right? We're talking about grape wine, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, oftentimes, I think about that and where, what are we supporting or what are we putting on a pedestal? And, one question was like, how much wine should we be bringing here from somewhere else, or should we be making wine out of something else, right? These are natural questions to have when you think about, the miles traveled and all this.
I think, so sorry to interrupt, but I think it's like, first of all, you're doing an incredible, great job here. It's like we tried that. We were like trying to do some tests with the cocktails, and we tried like fermented stuff, different kind of wine from rice to palm and everything. So you have this, but it's like step by step. But it's the first approach with wine of Asia, of course, is to have like more conventional wine, expensive wine, or more very large scale affordable wine. So at least we are trying to bring the good guys. So that's
honor to those different traditions, right? In all parts of the world, alcohol was made because the human wants alcohol, right? So why is one product better than the other? I think if it's made with the same kind of intention and attention to agriculture, the land, and what it's speaking, how it's made with integrity, then we can say that it's made with along the same philosophy as this natural wine, right?
Yeah, it is, and of course it's like it's but you are already questioning yourself, like maybe it's not, maybe the quantity is good or not. For me, like the first part is like it's to share this kind of honesty about the agriculture and the wine with people, that it'll elevate a little bit more the consciousness of people about what is it, the natural wine movement, and what is it about more sustainable agriculture and everything that is like it's in opposite of the other wines. So to create more culture about wine and food and in general. And at the same time, products are traveling everywhere, and if there's a message behind that, I think it's like, we are here, we have like incredible, beautiful records from Asia, but from all over the world, and then we have records, and there's talking about energy. There's certain energy about the music that you can feel it, that like creating certain.
We live in a global
experience.
World,
yeah, exactly. So it's like.
Things are, the exchange also adds a lot of value, the ability for people to move around and fly and see different things has created a lot of beauty, but also, there's a limit. There's also a limit. There's a reasonable limit, right? So understanding that line and understanding like what's enough. And I think all of these things, like as we said before, moderation.
Exactly.
Moderation is kind of an important point in understanding like the future, like everything that we do is at the end of the day, it comes from an agricultural product, right? Like whether it's food that we're serving or wine that we're serving.
100%. And I think it's like it's, if you have to bet on some products to move, it's better to bet on this kind of product, this kind of community than others. And it's a dialogue that eventually will come back here in 10 years, and you have your natural wine from Bali, from
exactly, maybe from rice or or sorghum. There's so many things that can ferment here, and you've got that.
And for example, the movement. What happened with the movement is like that. Before there were certain people with agriculture that the grape was so cheap that they have to treat it poorly, the soil and everything, to be able to stay on the market to sell the grapes. And with this process of natural wine, they started to have like people that are buying grape from agriculture. They want organic grapes. They want good grapes in a good place. So they start to express their concern with people, and people raise the quality of the grapes, and then the quality of the soil, and then they raise the price. So now they can sell with a decent price. They can make a living with it. So it's like there are a lot of examples that maybe are not like straight to wine or European wine from grapes and everything, but it's a movement that moves the ideas too, to see if people can create a different quality for their life, for community and everything. So,
I mean, it's a little bit what we're trying to do here with food systems and our supply chain is like by this power of creating a demand for a certain product that is done with a certain kind of integrity, then you can actually have the power to create systemic change. And that's like, we're on an island. I mean, it's not a massive island, but, it's still a scale enough that, can we convince one guy and then this guy convinces his neighbor and then he convinces his whole community. And all of a sudden you have a whole region that's buying into a different way of doing things. And for us, like this whole philosophy is there's contagiousness, right? Yeah. And there's like a energy that you put behind something that you say with conviction that I want to support this. I'm willing to put the money into this. And you can create change. Yeah.
And the beautiful thing is like that every time I saw you that you're like, I don't know, you're very committed with all this thing, but it's like, it's a change. It's a little revolution, but it's always with love and smile and caring people, it's like it's fun, it's energetic.
It has
it's
to
like
be fun.
Yeah,
it has to be delicious.
So that's the it's a very important part of that. It's like, it's not to be against a lot of stuff. It's like to be very proactive and be conscious about what is going on.
Yeah.
And
but it's also not dogmatic. We're not saying everything or everyone has to do this. It's just that if we can spread this more, then we could have the possibility of spreading this good energy.
Look at this. I mean, like if it's working, and now you're like one of the best at the end of the world, whatever. If it's working, it's like it's for other people to look at you and say, "Oh my God!" So they're doing this, like, and instead of say, "Oh, but it's a lot of work," and it's it's like it's more complicated, but it is working.
Sure. I mean, I think that's the interesting thing about this place. You have a small wine bar in Barcelona. I had a small restaurant in New York. Yeah. This place is not small. No. So to do something with that same care at scale is a whole different animal, right?
Yeah.
But the opportunity to set an example and to show people what that impact can be is great.
No, it's amazing.
And so that's sort of, a big aspiration in terms of like, what does this all mean? Right. Like,
No. It's a completely different game, but it comes from the very same source that is about, caring about what people, caring about the land, caring about what we do, caring about the flavors, caring. So it's like now it's a big game, but it's really nice that people can look at you and look at the place and say, wow. I mean, it is working. You can make it happen. It's like it's a very strong message.
Yeah, and there's a lot of power in that.
Yeah.
I mean, on the same side, you've been doing your place, but and it's not. I mean, it's growing. We're opening very soon, a few weeks, the new Bar Brutal. Where is Saint Catalina?
Santa Catalina is very close. Yeah, very close to our venue, but it's we are focused on nighttime now. It will be more during the daytime. But it's a little bit like the movement. For sure, you remember like 10 years ago, some small wine fair. No, some. It always start with some like weird, freaky people,
small, scrappy farmers, hippies in a wine fair.
And now there's a wine fair every week all over the world in every place. You can't go in because it's full. It's kind of
crazy.
Yeah, and we will have some friends coming from Bangkok. For the event, and it was a wine fair there in Bangkok.
Oh,
so
wow.
It's moving there. It's the scene. It's getting bigger and bigger, and it was very organic. There was no agenda.
Wow.
I mean, you remember, no? There was some people that bring some weird fermented.
Also, you feel like when a movement's sort of starting or taking off, you really feel that raw energy.
Yeah,
and I think. You, Borja, and every single person I've interacted with at Bar Brutal has transmitted that energy. And I think, at the end of the day, I don't remember a lot of the bottles that I had or the glass I had.
Too many.
Maybe too many.
Too many. That's why you don't remember.
It was really that energy that you guys, that love, that transmission, that hospitality, that true generosity of spirit that I remember the most.
Yeah.
Right. And I think to have people like you guys in this industry to serve as ambassadors in that way is just invaluable. That's because of course many people are unfamiliar with these things and these flavors. So to have that true spirit, I think is really necessary to spread that that love and to the real understanding of, you've spent a lot of time with the winemakers, so that there's a transmission there, and I think that's really important.
I mean, when it comes from if you're truly passionate about something and you wanna share with other people, it's like it's the way it is. So it comes from a necessity in a way, and it's not a commercial idea. It's like of course it need to be sustainable economically and whatsoever. But the thing is, it start from some truth about I really like this. I think it's important. It's important for me. Let's see, for other people, it's the same. And you start like this, and then eventually it's like you find out there's a lot of people are thinking the same way, and then you get in contact with more community, and then since everything started, it was like no one could believe that now there's I don't know.
Were you guys the first natural wine bar in Barcelona?
I think there were like a couple of friends. They were like dealing with a very small kind of wine shop when you can find some. We have another restaurant that is like it's 20 years old this year.
Congratulations.
We're getting old. But we were moving some wine there, but it wasn't completely. It wasn't a statement. Okay, only organic, only natural. So probably we were the first one there with this big commitment and in this scale, because it's not a big restaurant, but focus only with this kind of wine and with the amount of wine that we have now. Now we stopped because I mean we're like growing with the storage room was growing every year. Now this year we said okay, no more. It's like we just checked. We have like more than 30,000 bottles in the storage room.
Wow!
Only for the restaurant. Yeah.
30,000.
Yeah, and it's only for the restaurant. They are available for customers, and it's a lot of bottles. So
wow, I don't envy the person doing inventory, right?
Yeah. There are 4 person doing inventory all the time. But it is. It was coming from a little bit from this kind of anxiety to be able to give an opportunity to all the winemakers that send us some samples or go to wine fair and want to be available in our restaurant. When we started the restaurant, there were probably a handful winemaker organic in Catalonia, more or less.
So did you start out mostly with Catalan winemakers?
We started with French, Catalan, some Italian, but the thing is it wasn't a big community in Catalan. It was we know each other. We knew each other at the time, and it was 4, 5, 6 winemakers. And now it's you go to New York and there's a proper section of Catalan wine. It's it's now it's everywhere. But it was nice to when the bar started to be kind of famous and people come very often. We can move a lot of bottles. We were start to help. We were helping each other with the winemakers there. So the winemaker came and say, "Hey, I'm making this wine. What do you think about that?" It was this is bad. But okay, I'll keep it a little bit. I'll try to sell it again. Yeah. Explains to people, do not stop, keep going, and then eventually we'll find a way.
Yeah.
And we started with some now are very famous, but it's but we remember the early days.
But the thing is you were there being working together through their trial and error to get to a place where they could reach.
Yeah.
Wow.
Better.
Some of them are famous.
And it was about surviving at the time.
Mm-hmm.
When you start to move from one kind of agriculture to another,
absolutely,
you need to have a venue, an outlet that they can put your products out and defend in a kind of way your products and it worked. So and now every time there are more and more young people. There's a whole new generation of people making wine, and And now I don't know if we have like 50 or something like Catalan wines, Catalan winemakers on the list. And Spain is growing everywhere. It's it's a big movement.
Yeah.
So
And it's also amazing because you are in a winemaking region, so these people can actually come. And pour the wine, talk to people, share their vision a little bit, and also feel proud that so many people are drinking the wine. I think there's like a real exchange there that is like, something like this pride. It's and you guys have provided an amazing venue for that, right? Like you took a risk, they took a risk, you took the risk together.
Yeah. I mean, we really started because we want to have our place to hang out with the same weirdos friend to try the wine and do it, and then it get complicated. Now we're here. but yeah, actually, it's like it's kind of crazy how a lot of winemakers now are traveling to explain their own experience all over the world because the important ones that they are farmers and there's a lot of challenging now. About I don't know. It's like it's 1 year there's too much water. Another year is completely there was no water. The other the fires and everything. So it's like it's.
How do you think we can support through all of these challenging climate changes?
We can support. Like the thing is, like for us, it's we have this kind of commitment that there's no prejudice for us about the wine, about the flavor wine, about the sensational wine. It's like there's in a way that every year you can't expect the same kind of wine from a winemaker, as you said, because it's expression of the season and of the year and everything. But at the same time, now it's like it is not easy, but a lot of winemakers are trying to harvest earlier. Because there's less water, for example, in a lot of region in Europe. Yeah. So you need to be open-minded, try the wine at the first, and then wait. The development of the wine, it will be in the bottle eventually.
Sure. And that's like, in the cellar, the work that you do in the cellar, and also understanding the wine. Yeah. You know when the right time is to open the wine. And I think that comes with all the years and years of experience.
And if you're not, you open the bottle, you try. Oh no, let's try one. But yeah, it's and it's not easy. I understand that not everyone can do it, but it's there are different times, and for me the most important thing is that if you support your community, and if you support these farmers, they are the first agent that change this kind. I mean, it's not only passive. More people there are treating the land in a different way. The more it's like it's better for the climate in general. So it is interesting, challenging time, but very, very interesting. And there's a lot of region that now they are shifting and they are producing their organic wine, and they are like so. We have such a beautiful community close here in Australia and everything. So it's I don't know. I'm very positive that it's very complicated. Climate change, it's here. It's very strong, but I think there's a lot of conscious about this in our resilience in our community. That is like it's and every day we have more support from more people. Can think about the government and stuff, but it's right. the people that are the one that make change that. Yeah,
absolutely. So nice. Can you tell us a little bit about what you're doing on Saturday here?
What are we doing on Saturday here?
Party.
Party. So it's not me. It's Borja, as you said. Borja he was our sommelier. He's kind of freelance now, but we almost started together in Brutal. The idea was like to bring some special bottles from Barcelona. So we carry the bottle with us. Some bottles that are not on the market anymore. Some bottles that are like we have some producer that they make wine only for us, for the bars and special cuvées. So we brought some. Then we had the support of the local community here that is moving the wine. Toto Wine, the guys from Mosto, they're helping us. We will have some special bottles that come in. There's making bottles from Bangkok too, and other guys that open there. And so the idea is to create a menu with Diego Recarte, the chef of Dome. That actually we work together. So it's a small word for us, but the community. Yeah.
So much sense.
And we were talking about all the fantastic ingredients that you have here. It was like it's so talented, and it's a really good friend. So the idea is like to mix a little bit the ingredients that you have here, the cuisine that Diego is doing, with a little bit of brutal Spanish, Catalan touch, and play with the wine in the menu. Then we are the same. We are playing with some cocktails that we were trying this morning, very early in the morning. Breakfast cocktail, and basically to share the experience that you can have in Brutal here. And to have fun with the people. I mean, this place is so good. It's so amazing.
At the end of the day, it's to share that spirit, right? That like unmistakable brutal hospitality. That, like for me, like is the thing that's the reason why we're friends and why we're standing here today.
Of course, yeah. But it's and it's crazy here how people they are so lovely. They treat us so good. Like we had all the. We are here just for less than 48 hours. Everyone was so good to us. And I think now we will do some later tests with the food, but it look sick, like really nice, really looking forward.
Very, very excited. Anything else you want to tell us?
What time is this the event?
It's 6 o'clock. Doors at 6 o'clock till whenever we.
So don't drink till 5, please, because we have a lot of wine. We have a lot of booze there for you.
And then could be another 5 a.m. Who knows?
Yeah. It could be. But no.
Until the wine's gone.
Yeah, until the wine is gone. Exactly.
Yeah.
So and thank you again. Thank you for having us.
Gracias.